Away for the most prolific quarterback in college football this year, statistically anyway. Part of that run and shoot. Little shuffle pass to Bess. And let's meet the Hawaii offense.
Aloha everybody, I'm Ikaika Francis, starting defensive end for the University of Hawaii. I'm here to introduce the starting lineup who whoops me every day in practice and I get frustrated but I hang with it. We got my main man, Colt Brennan, the gunslinger, who's slinging it to number 7, Devon Bess. Sure hands, never drops a pass. But up front we got the big boys. Samson Tatele, who's the center of destruction, and Tali Sarah, who, man, you better watch out, Arizona State, because he's coming after you.
When you have a guy named Samson and Hercules, David, on your offensive line, you're in business. 2nd down and 6. Brennan trying to pull the trigger again, a little bit high and incomplete. Intended once again for Bess as we made the Sun Devil defense now.
My name is Brandon Rod, offensive tackle from Arizona State. I grew up right here in Aiea, Hawaii. I'm here to introduce the defense. I know these guys the best since I go against them every single day. First, we got Dexter Davis, defensive end, freshman All-American. In the backfield, we got the safety tandem of Josh Barrett, the fastest man on the planet, and Zach the Cat Kennedys.
Josh Barrett is a stud at that safety spot. 3rd down and 6 coming up. Hawaii trying to move the ball after the turnover off the fumble by Terrain. Brennan complete to Bess for the first down at the 30-yard line. Devon Bess, second team all-WAC this year, working against Josh Barrett. An interesting matchups, David, with those different receivers.
Well, and it's really tough, especially the slot receivers for Hawaii. Devon Bess has had a terrific year. 180 catches for Bess over the last 2 years. But they put so much pressure on you as a secondary. And Mark, when you talk about all the numbers that Colt Brennan has posted this year, a lot of people think, hey, he played a cupcake schedule. This team lined up against Alabama, a Boise State, a team that's going to be in a BCS game, Oregon State, Purdue. I mean, he's played some tough defenses to compile these numbers.
Brennan fires complete. This one is to Bryce Mullins. And another first down beyond the 41-yard line. Brennan, by the way, has just gone over 5,000 yards passing for the season. 5,000 yards is 5,000 yards. I don't care what league you're talking about. There's a look at the man that he's chasing, David Klingler, formerly of Houston. Record set back in 1990. Throws the ball just beyond the 40-yard line. This is the first offensive sequence for the Warriors. Is the lone back. This is a favorite play of theirs. A little shuffle pass to Alawa. He is a bowling ball and lethal in the open field. You got to wrap him up. And he gave a little Christmas present to the DB on that who tried to tackle him. Good block from Jason Rivers, too. Nate Alawa.
Well, the shovel pass was an addition to this offense. About 7 games into the season a year ago, June Jones was saying, hey, we do not have a good draw game. We're lining up in the shotgun. We need a way to block it like a draw, but to get more suction from those defensive players and selling the pass. And so they've gone to the shovel pass. He says, we block it like a draw. We just go ahead and shovel it forward. And if you combine the numbers that Ilawa had running the football with the shovel pass, he'd be over 1,300 yards this season.
Yeah, that's a great point. That is pretty much a running play for them. First down and 10 after the gain of 33 yards. This time they run it Alawa again, breaking a couple of tackles down to the 23-yard line as we go down to Heather on the sideline.
Well, Mark, no coincidence that Nate Ilawa keeps running to the left. Those 2 plays, both to his left side. The reason why, he's got a deep bruise in his left heel. He said there's no pain when he goes straight ahead, but plenty of pain when he's planting and cutting to his right. So Jones said it's simple. We'll just keep him going to his left. He opted out of having a cortisone shot, not even wearing tape because he doesn't feel like he has good grip on the field. So far, I think the plan's working just fine for Hawaii.
Ilawa's endured through a lot of adversity. The coaches at times have challenged his work ethic. Undergone shoulder surgery, knee surgery. Came in here at 185 pounds as a freshman. He's 248 today. Brennan under heat and goes down under the weight of that defensive front for the Sun Devils back at the 28-yard line. Keno Walter White making the stop, blitzing.
Well, Arizona State is going to have to bring pressure at times in this football game. You just don't line up and cover the Warriors down the football field. You got to disrupt Colt Brennan. You've got to get into the backfield, create some second and long and third and long situations. The Sun Devils, one of the better pass rushing teams in the Pac-10 over the course of this season.
Remember, last time Arizona State played, their defense knocked the starting quarterback from Arizona out of the ballgame. 3rd and 13 for Hawaii. Little receiver screen to Bess. Tries to turn it up north-south. Actually, that's Sample. And Sample is going to be stopped up short of the first down, and they're saying it's a loose ball down the field. John Estes. Satete came out of the pile with the ball. It's going to remain Hawaii football. 4th down coming up, and Dan Kelly, the place kicker, coming onto the field for the Warriors. So the Sun Devils, David, able to stop them down to the 25. And here comes Kelly, who was 11 of 14 on the year, to try and attempt the field goal here.
Well, this offense for Hawaii led the country 74 touchdowns. Second place team in that category, Louisville, 58 touchdowns. Quite a difference between the number 1, number 2 teams in the country. So big stop whenever you force a field goal try by the Warriors.
This coming from 42 yards out, and he pulls it to the left. His offense on the field, 1st down and 10. Brennan, 5 of 6 passing so far for 67 yards. Pulling the trigger on this run and shoot. Throwing it back. Well set up. Out beyond the 30-yard line. Ilawa gets the first down. This run and shoot has so many varied parts and movements and motions to it, doesn't it?
Well, and you get a defense and they play the pass. They get into their nickel defense. Go ahead and roll it, guys. But you're going to see motion here with Brennan on the boot to the right side. Actually, it's just a straight sprint out, and then he throws the screen pass back to the middle of the football field. So many variations. When a defense starts to play pass, they can drop it underneath to these big, talented backs.
Picked up 17 that time. Ilawa again getting across the edge in the open field. A bowling ball on the loose. They call him nasty. Nate Ilawa down to the 32 and got a good block up front from the right side of that offensive line.
He also got a hold. And this run's coming back.
Flag down to the 34.
And this play's coming back, but how about Nate Ilawa? Led the country in yards per carry, 7.9 yards per carry, just short of 8 yards a rush.
Holding, offense, number 72, penalized 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 1st down.
Mainu Pereza, the culprit on that play.
Back to Nate Ilawa. I mean, he is a guy that not only can run you over, but can get to the edge. Was a high school athlete on the East Coast. Was originally scheduled to go and play slot receiver for Virginia Tech. Came out to Hawaii, hooked up with the offensive lineman, started to eat with them, and all of a sudden he's a tailback at 250 pounds.
Came in at 185. Pardon me, David. He told us yesterday he was down to 247. Mawia in the ball game for him. This pass complete to Rivers, and Rivers gets the first down. Reagan Mawia in a tailback beside Brennan. Plenty of time. Fires complete to Rivers at the 39-yard line. Jason Rivers with the catch. And the first down for the Warriors.
A big question after this game is over. And I know a lot of people out here on Oahu want to know the answer. Will Colt Brennan move on and go to the pros? And these are the type of throws that make you think he might be ready to move on. The Rivers in a bunch formation, running the post corner route, and look at that ball, out on time. I mean, this guy is a spot thrower, and his movement in the pocket, sliding to his left, very effective.
Picked up 17 yards on that play. Complete to Bryce Mullins. And Bryce Mullins down to the 32, brought down by Ryan McFoy. And for more on Brennan, let's go to Heather.
Well, David was just talking about his decision whether or not to go to the NFL. He told me he's relying on Coach Jones's expertise to really guide him through that decision. Coach Jones then told me that tomorrow morning, even though it's Christmas, he's going to fax the junior NFL evaluation request form to the NFL offices, which starts the process. Then 6 scouts from 6 different teams evaluate Colt by January 15th, which provides Colt the info he and his family need to decide whether or not he'll declare himself eligible for the draft, guys.
2nd down and 2, a lot depending on that feedback that he gets from the various teams and scouts. Brennan given time again, going up top. And it's incomplete, intended for Bryce Mullins. Good coverage on the corner from Jeremy Payton. What do you think? You think he's out, or is he coming back? What would you recommend?
Well, if I was acting as an advisor for Colt Brennan, I would tell him to come back for another year. And you visit with the coaches for Hawaii. They talk about him getting in the weight room some more, getting more of an NFL body, and I agree. He's not quite strong enough yet. He doesn't quite have the presence in the pocket. You know, he's got great intangibles. He has the accuracy, but I think he will improve significantly in terms of the draft order if he stays for one more year here under June Jones.
3rd down and 2 coming up. Brennan is 9 of 11. A little shuffle pass, and this is complete to Ilawa, who got the first down, crossing the 30 down to the 29. Mike Nixon made the stop. Actually dragged him forward, it appeared, David, to give him the first down.
Well, we talked about Mouse Davis, who now is the running backs coach for the University of Hawaii, but back at Portland State, when he had quarterbacks like June Jones and Neil Lomax, the quarterbacks were lining up under center. Now they go from the shotgun, and to run that effective draw action, you got to use the shovel pass and just one more wrinkle over the years to really help this offense along and become as effective as it's been over the course of this season.
Mouse Davis, the coach in the USFL and the CFL of the Toronto Argonauts. Rich Holloway was his trigger man back then. 1st down and 10. Ilawa gets those shoulders squared away and pushed out of bounds at the 23. And here's what head coach June Jones had to say about his starting quarterback.
I just basically told him, that, off of what I've seen off your junior college film, I think you might be one of the best ones that I've ever looked at. And if you trust me on this and walk on, I said, in a year or 2, you might be the first quarterback taken in the National Football League.
Now, June Jones says physically he's the best that I've coached, and that includes guys like Jeff George, who says he threw the ball better, but doesn't make all the plays that Brennan has so far. 2nd down and 5. Trying to make a play here, thrown back against his body, and it's dropped. Sample was wide open and might have had himself 6 points.
He walks into the end zone if he makes this catch. And, quarterbacks that can throw from different platforms and different arm positions, I think they're going to be the quarterbacks that you have the most success with. And how about throwing back against his body, finding Sample moving back to his right? That just gives you a snapshot of the athletic ability of Colt Brennan on that last play. Should have gone for 6.
Dropped down 3/4 on that one. 3rd down and 5 coming up now. 9th play of the Hawaii drive. Brennan, and he's going to be sacked back at the 25-yard line. And 4th down coming up for the Warriors.
It looks like June Jones is going to go with Kelly again. Another field goal try, and after that first miss by Kelly, this is a bit of a decision here for June Jones. I know that he had to think about it there because his offense very capable of picking up 3rd and 6.
And this kick is going to come from about 42 yards out. Missed one earlier today. Missed from this very distance in the first quarter. And Kelly knocks this one through. Crowd here at Aloha Stadium in stunned silence pretty much. Here's Ilawa. And Ilawa plowing his way down to the 33-yard line. And right now it's time for our Aflac Trivia question. This week's question. The International Bowl will be played January 6th in Toronto, Canada. Cincinnati against Western Michigan. When was the last bowl game played off of U.S. soil?
I don't think I got any idea on this one. I think this one might involve David Klingler.
Japan, actually?
Which is right on point.
Yeah, with the run and shoot thing.
And with Colt Brennan chasing Klingler, 54 touchdown.
Reagan Mawia now in at tailback as Ilawa comes out of the game. Brennan is 11 of 15 so far, but threw an interception on the last sequence, which led to the Arizona State touchdown. This pass complete to Rivers at the 42. Walter White making the stop on the play for Arizona State. You know what, David? It's interesting. With the last game being coached by Dirk Cutter of Arizona State right now, it would be easy for the players and the coaching staff en masse to just let go of the rope. But so far, with 4:01 to go in the first half, they've acquitted themselves extremely well. This is a team that came in prepared and ready to play. That says a lot about the intent and the resolve of Dirk Cutter.
Right. Dirk Cutter did a great job keeping this team focused when it looked like some were going to abandon ship on the Sun Devils after those two crushing defeats against Cal and Oregon midseason.
There's the shovel pass. Ilawa wrapped down short of the 45-yard line. Let's talk a little bit more about Ilawa. You know, Jones has had a lot of players like him, like the late Craig Ironhead Hayward, Jamal Anderson, Alonzo Highsmith. Strong running backs, David, that he says didn't quite have the moves that Ilawa has. That's quite high praise for Ilawa.
You look at his build, 248 pounds, and we talked about some of the problems. He came in the conditioning drills a year ago, really disappointed June Jones. June was furious about his conditioning coming into the 2005 season, but you look at his frame, he doesn't want to run you over. He wants to make you miss.
Second down and 7. Brennan sacked back at the 40-yard line. Dexter Davis. Third down and long coming up for Colt Brennan. This is a designated quarterback run. Down special at 7 Eastern. First down and 10. And Brennan, we're glad to report, is back in the ballgame. And still throwing very well. That's Bryce Mullins with the first down out to the 45.
Well, he's going to use their last time out. And, you know, he's going to go ahead and go on the ball here. You only have time for one more play. They could have used their last time out there. Hawaii operating with fewer seconds because the clock wound after the change of possession.
Brennan downfield. Incomplete. Brennan. The pass complete to Rivers for the first down, a gain of 13, working against Walter White. Let's take a look at the first half numbers. One big number that jumps off the screen at you when you think about it that's not there is the turnover that led to the touchdown for Arizona State. That one pick.
You look at the rushing yards as well. Arizona State continuing to have success on the ground. They ran the ball for more than 2,000 yards this season, and Hawaii is going to have to make better decisions. Brennan had pretty good numbers, but they're going to have to be more efficient getting the ball to their two great slots.
See what he does here. Slings it complete. And another first down, it appears. A reception by Jason Rivers, his second consecutive. Former state sprint champ, using his speed to make a play. Manitai making the stop. And we talked about the intransigence, the stout nature of that Arizona State defense in the second half of ball games this year. Just under 8 points a game allowed. And they're going to give the first down to Hawaii.
Yeah, that is a astounding statistic when you look at the effectiveness of Bill Miller's defense. They played Cal, Oregon, and USC in consecutive games. I really thought that game against the Trojans, even though they lost in the fourth quarter, I thought that was a turning point, and they have really regrouped down the stretch and into the bowl game.
Arizona State playing inspired defense for their head coach, Dirk Cutter, who's coaching his last game at the helm, and Ilawa got a nice block up front over the left side of that offensive line, and Ilawa with almost another first down, it looks like, or close to it.
Boy, he is quick at 250 pounds, and most backs that have that type of frame.
248, man. He told us 248. Come on.
I'm not going to give him the credit for 2 pounds. But you have a back that big. Normally, he wants to get it upfield, north-south. And you watch Ilawa, he's always looking to bounce the ball outside.
Interesting matchup in that Bo Manitai is his cousin. He's the middle linebacker for Arizona State, so they should have some nice family collisions. Brennan with wide open real estate. And wisely going down shy of the 30 at the 32-yard line. Doesn't want to take another huge hit like he did from Teron Ware late in the first half. That time he picked up 14, David.
Well, and you look at the way defenses play as we take a look at some of the numbers. Astounding. Over 47 points a game. They lead the nation in that category. And then you look at the lack of production today. But I think the mix of run and pass is what is going to get Hawaii back in the football game. Teams love to play this team to pass the ball, obviously. There are going to be opportunities for Brennan to pull the ball down, an opportunity for the tailbacks to run the football.
Our best, David, has been kind of quiet so far in this ball game. They hand it off to Ilawa. One-on-one, tough to bring down. Punishing, cruising, running by Ilawa down to the 10-yard line. But there's a flag down on the play. This one might come back. The flag down at the 26-yard line. So just like in the first half, David had a nice run wiped out by an infraction, a holding call, it looks like. It's coming back.
Yeah, this might have been the right tackle. Dane Uparesa, number 72.
Holding. Number 72. Offense. Penalized 10 yards. Repeat first down.
And that's a second big holding call on Uparesa, and both have been on big gains. Brennan's just going to release the underneath handoff. Watch the move Ilawa puts on Justin Tryon, one of the top tackling cornerbacks in the Pac-10. Just absolutely loses him. And then he punishes McFoy, the safety, to finish off the run.
Guy's got the speed of a Ferrari and the body, the chassis of a Hummer. That's the H2. Supersize. 1st and 15 after the penalty. Mauia is in for Ilawa. Little receiver screen. And the ball's loose. And pounced on by Uparesa, so he atones for the holding penalty, David, by recovering the fumble on the play. They're going to give it back to Hawaii.
One of the dangers of running the smash screen, some people call it the jailbreak screen, is there's a lot of traffic, a lot of noise inside for a wide receiver to think about after the catch.
You really run back into the teeth of the defense, don't you, a lot of times?
Warriors very lucky to get that football back.
Jim Jones has taken this team to 5 of their total 7 bowl games in the school's history. Right now trailing by 7 points. Arizona State, conversely, looking for its 3rd consecutive bowl victory. And this is the last game coached by Dirk Cutter, the head coach. 2nd and 16. Has a man wide open, and I mean wide open. Touchdown. It doesn't come any easier for Rivers. The king surfer on the island. That's the word on the street now, and the word on the field is that Colt Brennan is starting to heat it up a little bit. He was absolutely marvelous on that last drive, 4 for 4 for 59 yards. Ilawa on the handoff. Around the left side, it usually takes about 3 or 4 guys to bring him down. Picked up about 8, and let's take a look back at that last drive. Rivers, David, his favorite target.
Yeah, back shoulder throw here against man-to-man coverage, right on the money. Uses his feet to get Hawaii out of trouble. And then the bust in the secondary, Peyton, the safety, biting on the underneath the receiver. Colt Brennan finding Rivers down the sideline. You know, if Rivers didn't get that drop from Ian Sample in the first half, he'd have the record right now.
1 more to go. 2nd down and 1 coming up. Ilawa again. Brought down, but got enough for the first down inside the 40. What a great collision that time between Josh Barrett and Nasty Ilawa. Nasty, I mean that affectionately. That's his nickname amongst his teammates. Because Barrett right there, number 19, the best athlete pound for pound on that Arizona State defense, David.
When you think about run and shoot, you think about pass first, but this run game puts a real bind on a defense. They run that trap play, they pull the off guard, and then you got Aloha coming downhill on you.
First down and 10. A man that came into the program as a 185-pound freshman. Pass complete. Rivers again, flowing like water. First down at the 14. And there's a flag on the play as well.
The timing is just tremendous on the delivery by Brennan.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Defense on the 19. Late hit out of bounds. Penalized half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Barrett a little overzealous on the play.
Well, the key is the timing here, though. As a quarterback, you get the ball on Rivers this quickly, he has the ability to run with the football. He makes Josh Barrett miss, and Barrett gets hit with the late hit. Actually, that was Deron Ware, the linebacker, that missed the tackle on the reception, and then Barrett comes in late. But how about the timing by Colt Brennan? The ball always comes out quickly when Brennan's behind center.
First down and goal from the 7-yard line. What a nice catch that time by Bryce Mullins. Bryce Mullins with an outstanding touchdown. And all the best in the new year. First down and 10. Hawaii more than 99 yards away from the end zone. Brennan. Best comes up with it, then drops it at the 34. Walter White got a hand in there and seemed to break it up at the last minute. There are a couple of receivers in the same vicinity. Second and 10 coming up, and the updated numbers on Colt Brennan. I'm not going to try and explain that pass efficiency formula. I was good at calculus, David, but it takes more than that.
Well, what's so impressive about Colt Brennan's years, you can compile completions and attempts and touchdown passes. To me, what's made it the best statistical year in the history of quarterback in the Division I level, passing efficiency and completion percentage. Just tremendous job by Colt Brennan.
And another first down. Rivers still on his feet. Rivers, one guy to beat, and Barrett finally got him in midfield. Josh Barrett made a touchdown-saving tackle on Jason Rivers, who was efforting another touchdown. At the 47.
I think Colt Brennan has found something on the weak side with Rivers. Working against Keno Walter White. They found a mismatch. Walter White has not had a good afternoon tackling, and he has been exploited by the split end. Another great ball by Colt Brennan. It comes out quick. Got excellent ballistics on the football, a very tight spiral, and he's jacked up.
Now we're in the ball game at tailback. This Hawaii offense starting to look more like the offense that amassed 47.3 points a game during the regular season. Iowa stopped up at the line of scrimmage at the 48-yard line. It'll be second down and 10.
But getting back to those stats, I mean, a quarterback, you look at quarterbacks across the country, if you're throwing the ball 50, 60 times a game, of course you're going to lead your league and you're going to lead the country in attempts and completions. But when you've got the completion percentage and the pass efficiency as high as Colt Brennan, that to me signals that this was the best year quarterbacks ever had at this level. He has it across the board in terms of the statistics. Just an incredible year.
After this play, I'm going to ask you the $6 million question. Player or system? That seems to be the perpetual debate when a quarterback puts up gaudy numbers in a run and shoot. Brennan complete underneath to Bess, who's still on his feet. Giving you a little bit of yak. Yards after the carry and catch. And And another first down near the 40-yard line. Bess has been relatively quiet today, but let me get back to that Brennan question.
Well, let's talk about the system and let's talk about Devon Bess. Devon Bess is really the featured slot receiver and the featured overall skill player for Hawaii. But you talk about those numbers, and to answer your question, Mark Jones, I think the system is a big part of it. You can't take anything away from June Jones or Mouse Davis. Timmy Chang, Colt Brennan's predecessor, threw for more than 17,000 yards in this offense. But Colt Brennan, I think he's the best they've ever had here, and he is going to be a next-level guy.
Ilawa down to the 36-yard line. Nate Ilawa. And tomorrow night, Jason Taylor leads a tough Miami Dolphin defense against Chad Pennington and the New York Jets. Jason Taylor having a nice year for Miami. Is it Monday yet? Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern, also available in high definition on ESPN HD. As we take a look at the current AFC East standings, the Dolphins are not a player in the playoff picture, but the Jets still alive at 8-6. Cleveland defeated Jacksonville today. Brennan back to pass with plenty of time. Complete. Touchdown. Bryce Mullen with a catch. Got sick a few moments ago on the sidelines. Ryan McFoy in for him. Here's the pass to Bryce Mullen. And Bryce Mullen with a first down. Changes in that secondary. Bryce Mullen apparently wanted a little bit more. There's a look at Ryan McFoy. His brother plays for UCLA. And McFoy now in for Barrett. Barrett, David, a huge part of what they do defensively at Arizona State. And this penalty against Hawaii.
Barrett is a big part of this defense. He's the most talented member of Arizona State's defense, and the Sun Devils lost Zach Catanese, his safety mate, in the second series of this ball game. Arguably the two most talented players for Arizona State defensively. Deron Ware, pretty talented in his own right at linebacker, but the Sun Devils starting to get thin in the secondary.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 7 of the offense. Penalized 15 yards. It'll be 1st and 10.
That's Devon Bess. Sometimes in the course of youthful exuberance, there is a little over-exuberance. Frankly, I think it's tough to suppress that kind of emotion.
Well, that is
I got no problem with guys bumping their gums once in a while.
There's plenty of gum bumping over here in the islands historically with Hawaii. When they get up and they get it rolling, there's plenty of talking that goes on, and teams know it when they come in. I'm sure Dirk Cutter warned his team, beware of the talking. There's going to be a couple hits that are going to come pretty close to the whistle, maybe a bit after the whistle. And Hawaii's going to try to take shots on defense and try to knock players out of the game. This is a pro-style attack by Hawaii that Jerry Glanville employs, and sometimes you get tested with a flag or two.
Officials still discussing this down to the field, and 57 seconds to go in the third quarter. I'm Mark Jones along with David Norrie and Heather Cox. A complete turnaround here in the second half, with Hawaii storming back from a 10-3 deficit with 3 touchdown passes from Colt Brennan to take a 24-10 lead. And Dirk Cutter on the sidelines there, the head coach of Arizona State, coaching his last game, as Dennis Erickson will take over after this one as the new head coach of the Sun Devils. He's already hired himself, among other coaches, an offensive coordinator, Rich Olson from the University of Miami. Move the ball back to the 50-yard line, and it's first down and 10 from there. Lawa in at running back beside Brennan to the right of him. Lawa gets the carry. Down to the 48 as we go to Heather.
With Josh Barrett, Arizona State safety, who gave the Hawaii off.
Aloha Stadium. I'm Mark Jones along with David Norrie and Heather Cox. Second down and 8 coming up for the Warriors. Colt Brennan has become the all-time single-season touchdown passer in NCAA history in this period. One incomplete. Threw for 200. Actually had 245 total yards, 10 of 11 passing for almost 200 yards, and all importantly, 3 touchdowns, David.
Well, most importantly for the Sun Devils, they're going to have to come up with a stop. This is the biggest play of the game for Arizona State on defense, and Michael Marquardt, Jordan Hill inside had some success at the tackle positions for Arizona State in the first half, working with Caldwell and Davis at the defensive end positions, but they've got to start getting to Colt Brennan to get him back off time in the pocket.
Brennan got away in a hurry as the blitz was coming. Rivers made the catch at the 40-yard line. That is right at the first down marker. We'll see what kind of spot he gets and whether it is indeed a first down. It looks like they're going to give it to him right at the 40-yard line.
Now, this is the problem that you face on defense. Even when you get to the quarterback, Colt Brennan has such a quick release that he's able to get the ball out. Hey, watch the blitz by Gaethel off the left side. I mean, he was on to Colt Brennan quickly, but the ball came out. Boom. And that's one of the intangibles that June Jones talks about Colt Brennan. His toughness, his quick release, sitting in under pressure.
It's not often, David, that you can have a quarterback come in on the heels of Timmy Chang and almost reduce Timmy Chang to an afterthought of sorts. I mean, he has really eclipsed a lot of the things that Timmy Chang has done, and Chang was no slouch. First down and 10.
Yeah, and you know, Timmy Chang was a heck of a player, but I think Colt Brennan, watch Gaethel come off the edge here. I just think Colt Brennan is hands down the most talented quarterback that they've had at Hawaii. That was an impressive play by Colt Brennan. He knew he was going to take the hit, and he delivered the ball right on the money.
A little over a year ago this time, a walk-on at quarterback. Complete. Another first down. This was Chad Mock, the senior, with his first catch of the game.
And you go back, you look at Nick Rolovich. He played with Ashley Lally here, the great wide receiver that moved onto the NFL. Timmy Chang passes for over 17,000 yards. He had Chad Owens, the great slot receiver. But Colt Brennan has a very deep group of receivers. Bess and Bryce Mullen, of course, are the featured guys in the slot, but there are a lot of other guys that June Jones can dial up in his play calling from the sideline.
Mock picked up 15 on that catch. First down from the 25-yard line. Ilawa. Nice straight arm, a stiff arm on Deron Ware, who made the tackle for Arizona State. You talk about Colt Brennan. Threw 53 touchdown passes during the regular season, led the country in 6 different categories, was not invited to New York's Downtown Athletic Club. I asked him about it, David. He said, had they won that game against Oregon State, I might have been a little bit more vociferous in my complaints about not being invited, but they lost the game, so he didn't have a problem with it.
Well, and he had an opportunity to win that game down the stretch, and he bounced the ball on 4th down to an open Rivers on the outside, and you know, I thought it showed maturity. And Colt Brennan said, I didn't deserve to go back there after not winning that game.
Looking for Bess. And Bess was open temporarily, but a little bit off the mark. You saw the graphic a few moments ago. Sorry, David. Troy Smith and Brady Quinn, 2 guys that obviously were there at the Downtown Athletic Club. And Brennan was not. 3rd and 11.
I think that plays into Colt Brennan's decision on whether he comes back. You're going to have Brady Quinn come out. Troy Smith obviously going to come out. You have Brian Braun from Louisville. You look at their numbers there. I think Colt Brennan is best served, and he's going to have a significant jump in the draft if he waits another year, continues to develop. He's going to be working with June Jones and Mouse Davis. The wide receiver core is going to be tremendous. 1 year older, more experienced.
3rd down and 11. They set up the screen, Ilawa, and it's incomplete at the 24-yard line. And they just missed on that one. Matatai And Dexter Davis with the pressure that time for the Sun Devils. 4th down coming up. In comes the field goal unit led by Dan Kelly.
Yeah, it was a nice play by Deron Ware, number 18, to read that screen pass and get a hand over the top. Yeah, this is such a tough defense, or tough offense, excuse me, to play because of their ability to throw the ball downfield and then spring that shovel pass and little runs underneath to allow it.
This field goal attempt from 43 yards out. He's 1 of 2 so far today. And this one is true by Dan Kelly by 10 with just under 12 minutes to go. Ilawa on the carry. And he's tackled at about the 12-yard line. Now, David, we talked about the run and shoot for most of the night. How do you burn time off the clock in the run and shoot, or can you?
Well, and that's one of the weaknesses of this offense, is trying to milk clock. As we look at Mouse Davis, the mentor, the originator of the run and shoot offense. I remember walking down the hill, Portland, Oregon, watching him coach with June Jones under center, Neil Lomax. I watched Neil Lomax's offense put up 105 points one afternoon against Delaware State. But, you know, weakness of this offense, you're going to get plenty of possessions here in the 4th quarter if you're Arizona State.
Bryce Mullen with the catch on the play, right around the 1st down marker. So, is it kind of like, I kind of equate it to, it's like in the mob in television. Just when you think you're out of it, you're really in. Is that it? Well, they keep you in the game?
You do a lot of NBA basketball. You've seen the Phoenix Suns, and it might be an inappropriate time to bring this up. Suns after they ran off 15 in a row. But the Phoenix Suns, you know, if you're down by 15, 16, 17 points, you're going to get enough possessions to get back in the game. And Arizona State, I think, they're talking on the sideline, plenty of time. They were trailing by 17. That touchdown got them right back in the game. And with over 11 minutes to go, plenty of time to pull a comeback here in the Islands.
1st down after that play and catch by Brian Bryce Mullen. A season ago, a young man battled groin injuries for most of the season, was really slowed down as a result of that, but has caught a couple of pivotal passes in this one. 1st and 10 coming up. Mock in motion. Ilawa. And he fumbled it. Tryon got it. And the Sun Devils get a gift.
And Jerry Glanville, of course, June Jones coaching underneath Glanville at the pro level.
Once again, it's Rivers working against Tryon. And 1st down to the 34-yard line. They have had a field day against Tryon today.
And how about the feet of Colt Brennan? He's got great feet in the pocket. He's able to move and find areas, seams between defensive linemen to deliver the football. I love the way he slides around in the backfield, almost like a ballerina. And he is able to free himself up. Good sight lines down the field, and then boom, the ball comes out with accuracy.
Look at those numbers. 4th 400-plus yard passing game. And bowl game. And Colt Brennan underneath this time to Bess. And Bess powering forward up to the 48-yard line near midfield, and another 1st down for Hawaii. Trying to snatch some of that momentum back with the ball now on offense.
Well, you can't say enough about this Hawaii offensive line. And June Jones has talked about the offensive line throughout the season. Really an unsung group, but a group that has played at a very high level up front. It all starts with Samson Satelli, a center who started every game of his career, moved over to center for his last season from guard.
What an incredible streak that is when you think about it. Especially in football where you deal with all the injuries. Mawia that time, Reagan Mawia. How do you spell knock? Yeah, flex it up. Putting some muscle in his hustle. He's got plenty of it. He got a lot of junk in the trunk.
295 pounds.
He was a 356 at one point, David.
How many converted defensive linemen, interior defensive linemen, get converted to tailback? And that's like trying to tackle a mid-size SUV.
That's an Escalade on spinners right there. 22-inch rims included. 2nd and 3 coming up. Once again, they keep it on the ground. Maui again. Well, Tuesday night Capital One Bowl Week kicks off on ESPN. Sun Belt champs Middle Tennessee making the team's first ever bowl appearance, taking on Central Michigan. Motor City Bowl on ESPN Tuesday night, part of Capital One Bowl Week. Also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Let's take a look at that last hit. How do you tackle these big fullbacks, or tailbacks, I'll call them?
Well, Josh Barrett, the Pac-10, all Pac-10 safety, said, I didn't know there were tailbacks that were that big on the planet.
3rd and 1 coming up.
I agree with him.
Bryce Mullen in motion. Brennan throws it on a rope that melts in Bryce Mullen's arms for another Hawaii first down at the 27-yard line. He got 14 that time. They moved the chains.
June Jones said it. He thinks Colt Brennan is the best quarterback. He goes so far as to say he's the best football player in college football. And the way he's been throwing the ball in this bowl game, it's hard to argue with him. You know, Troy Smith is the guy that meant the most to his team. Troy Smith, the plays he made against Michigan, 3rd down conversions, deserve it to clearly be the Heisman winner. But Colt Brennan, he's going to have his day next year.
Maui, flag down. And Maui down at the 24-yard line. David, you see guys just start to kind of fall down in front of these big running backs for Hawaii. I don't see anybody wrapping up with arms and doing that form tackling thing that you guys all talk about.
Well, you got
to break form when you deal with 300-pound tailbacks.
A holding call against Hawaii here, which is going to be a big help for the Sun Devils. But you got Ilawa at 248.
Yards from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
You got Ilawa at 248. You got Mauia at 295. And let's be honest, he's tipping more than 3 bills. You want to get into their legs early if you can. If you don't, I mean, it's not a lot of fun at the second level trying to put a helmet on these guys. And when you're playing the pass, a week in and week out, Mark Jones, we talk to defensive coordinators that say we've got to stop the run. Well, defensive coordinators that go up against Hawaii, we got to stop the pass, and then all of a sudden you get one of these big tailbacks coming downhill at you.
Those little shovel passes are almost like running plays too when they're coming downhill at you. 1st and 20. Brennan tucks it under, but is brought down at the 39-yard line. Good pursuit from the backside. Manitai with the tackle.
That's a super play by Manitai, an inside linebacker whose strength isn't playing in space, but he had the speed to run down Colt Brennan from behind.
Manitai is the cousin of Nate Ilawa, the starting tailback for Hawaii. 2nd and 23 coming. Approaching 6 minutes to go. Ilawa obviously a little disappointed after his fumble that set up the last Arizona State touchdown. Watching this sequence from the sidelines. Wide open underneath. You know what? Rivers has been like 7-Eleven. Open 24 hours. Another reception for him as he closes in on 200 yards in the ball game. Open on Christmas Eve, too.
Well, this was an offense that pioneered it all. The first offense going back to the 70s that allowed wide receivers to read secondaries after the snap of the football. Rivers a great job of getting downfield, taking that in cut and finding the seam, giving Colt Brennan a nice picture.
A methodical drive down the field by Hawaii here. Actually, dare I say, using up some clock. Brennan complete to Bess. Touchdown, Hawaii! And somewhat controversial decision by Dirk Cutter to punt on that last sequence on 4th down. Ilawa back in the ball game. The last time he touched the ball, he fumbled. Ilawa, with both hands firmly wrapped around the ball, falls at the 5-yard line. Maybe got 1, maybe 2 on the play. What do you think of that punt.
Well, it's a tough decision to make to go ahead and punt there, because you have an offense that's capable of picking up a 4th and 16. And remember, the clock starts before the first down snap. You have 3 timeouts left. The clock's going to start 4 times. Once before the first down snap, and then after first, second, and third down. So you're going to lose time off the clock here. There's not going to be a timeout left for after the third down play. You're really counting on getting the ball back and then recovering an onside kick. I think you have to take the risk inside your own 35 and go on 4th and 16.
Well, Dirk Cutter knows what comes with the job and the title of head coach. The son of a coach. He's coached by his father in high school coming up, learning the game. He knows what the minefields and the pitfalls are, and he'll move on to another position, no doubt. He'll be hired by somebody, I would guess, relatively soon.
There's no doubt he's one of the best X's and O's offensive minds in college football. I mentioned the Oregon pipeline because underneath Mike Bellotti, you had offensive coordinators like Al Borges, who's gone to Auburn, Jeff Tedford at Cal, Bob Toledo came close with Cade McNown to a national title game appearance, and then you have Dirk Cutter. Those are 4 offensive coordinators and coached up in Eugene, and all extremely highly regarded.
Contract extended, actually, back in March. And then the decision made to terminate his contract after the Arizona victory earlier this month. Brennan keeps it himself. Nice move, almost a face mask. And Brennan lunging for the first down at the 19-yard line. So he shows you some of his somewhat deceiving, robust athletic talent. 2:46 to go. They keep possession of the football and move the chains.
Well, June Jones, just like clockwork, talks about the intangibles with Colt Brennan. Now, how about his mobility? Go ahead and run it, guys. He's not only going to pick up the first down here, but watch him dive back in towards the field of play to keep the clock moving after they whistle the ball ready for the snap. And that is going to really make things tough on Arizona State, because a new set of downs, Arizona State still with 2 timeouts left.
Both teams with a pair of timeouts remaining. Elawa is their insurance policy out to the 23-yard line. And Heather Cox has more on Dirk Cutter.
Well, I talked to Arizona State Athletic Director Lisa Love about her decision to fire Coach Cutter, and she said she appreciates the work he's done over the last 6 years, but she added, you know what, now we're working with Coach Erickson. His resume in championships and BCS games was the deciding factor. And basically she said the whole reason we're seeking a grander stage for the Sun Devils. So in the conversation, it seemed to me that ultimately the 2-19 record against ranked teams and the fact that they never won in California against Pac-10 teams were the deciding factors in making the coaching change.
Yeah, Erickson, Heather, turned around Oregon State after consecutive losing seasons. There's a look at his impressive resume. Went 7-5, and then that 11-1 season, David, for Oregon State under Erickson, his second year there. Pretty fast start in Corvallis, and then 2 national championships at the University of Miami. After that, it was on to the NFL.
He's a player's coach, and his teams play with confidence. He's an offensive mastermind. You mentioned the 2 national championships, and that 11-1 team, Oregon State, they went down and absolutely trashed Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl right in front of the Tempe faithful. And I think the people down in Tempe, and most importantly Lisa Love, remember that game. He is a guy that is a quick fix type coach. I think he's capable of doing some things with Arizona State. And by the way, Mike Price was a candidate, for that job. Right. Mike Price, only a matter of time before he gets a big job. One of the best in the business.
2nd down and 6 to go for Hawaii. They stormed back in the 3rd quarter with 3 touchdowns as Colt Brennan was white hot. Elawa on the handoff. Met about a yard behind the line of scrimmage as the clock approaches 2 minutes.
Timeout.
Another timeout called by Arizona.
You don't have to rely on recovering an onside kick.
What a day for quarterback Colt Brennan. A career-high 480 yards passing. Blitz off the edge, and Rivers is thinking about a house call. If you don't know about Jason Rivers, you better ask somebody. Touchdown, Hawaii. 79 yards in a bolt.
As advertised. And this is going to be a slant by Rivers here, and Justin Tryon cannot play this route as soft as he did. The game's on the line here. You can't give up a first down and then not much of an effort by Tryon to make the tackle. I was not impressed by Justin Tryon's effort there, and Rivers having himself a night.
Take one more look at this in real speed. And speaking of speed, Rivers, a former state track champion. The turbo kicked in about right here. He was thinking 6.
And about 118 teams in the country that would run the ball in that situation on 3rd and 9, up 10 points, being safe with the football. Not June Jones. Like I said, you never know what he's going to spring on you. He trusts Colt Brennan to put the ball up, to be secure with the football. And that was one of the best slant throws I've seen at the college level all year.
A school record 308 yards by Jason Rivers.